From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big week as more earnings are released and the earnings recession abounds, but will they continue or will more companies miss today and tomorrow? Are the latest projections for this week? Plus, we have a major week upon us. What's going on this week? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, especially Thursday. A massive week upon us. What do we need to know? There's big money, big issues, and big question marks. We're going to go over all of them in this recording. Plus, the labor numbers surged last week to 60. What will happen thereafter? We've surged week after week since the month of April. Are the numbers still going up? But the great news is that your benefits are going up an enormous amount. We had the breaking details over the weekend. As that PCEI was released, and we're less than 14 days away from the next CPI number, that major number is huge. That, my friends, is why you have to get a forced stimulus check. A forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state. And we're going to go over all these incredible sums of money in this recording. What do? You become a member. Go right on this video and subscribe. Then become a member. Join the channel and get those nearly $100,000 of forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. It's a major recording today as we were breaking news right a minute ago about earnings, about oil, about housing, about the Federal Reserve. It all came in minutes ago. They had a tough weekend. They worked really hard. They're back with the shocking details, and I have the shocking details for you in today's recording. The great news is that your benefits are going up. A massive sum of money. We'll go over the latest details of that money later in this recording. Plus, big sums of checks, approximately $100,000. We'll go over those details later in this recording as well. It's a big week. We thought last week was the biggest week of the summer. This one is not a small one. We'll have the latest details on what to know across the board today in this humongous of a week. We're going to be dealing with the economy, recession in today's recording, inflation, your benefits raise. LALATE's going to be covering the housing market, unemployment, and of course, for stimulus. That's all coming up today on LALATE from the shores of Santa Monica, California. God bless you. I'm excited you're here. Become a member. Go right on this video and subscribe and get ready for these massive checks that you deserve. They're not anywhere else. They're on LALATE. And the excitement starts right here, right now, as a big, bold, beautiful afternoon of August 1, 2022 gets underway on Afternoons. And good afternoon. Another big week upon us. We'll have the latest details of what to expect this week. Big checks, big money, big news. We have a lot going on in this week with the earnings recession. More companies expected to miss, but what miss going into the weekend and what could miss tomorrow? I have the breaking news on that. Plus, lots of developing details on that oil front minutes ago. Housing had big data came in hours ago. I have the latest on that. The forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. We're going to go over how to get these big checks, get that incredible LALATE newsletter. Approximately $100,000 of checks. Did you become a member? Join. Congratulations to the hundreds who joined in just the last few hours. Membership is going through the roof. This channel is going through the roof because this is where the money is. And today we have a lot going on. It's a massive day today on LALATE. I'm excited you're here. Housing market, unemployment, stimulus. We got it all coming up on LALATE starting right now. Good afternoon. Hope you're having a beautiful day. It's August 1st, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, California. We start today with the latest shocker of news that coming in as home prices fell again. Housing prices are still up year to date, but the latest details released by Black Knight shortly this morning, it's a mortgage software company, shows that the annual price of homes appreciated at a slower increase than previously seen. Home prices are still higher than the year before, but the gains are now the slowest that we've seen in several months. This is as that shocker came in on Friday. Did you see that shocker? You probably saw it on this channel over the weekends. Over the weekend, we detailed how the mortgage rate, the 30-year mortgage rate, fell astronomically, 0.25 percentage point in one day between Wednesday and Thursday. So things are happening very, very quickly across the board. This Wednesday, major developing detail. OPEC Plus, those incredible people. sarcastically said, are meeting to discuss whether they're going to keep the production of oil at the current levels, September levels, output projections, or increase it across the board. That's why the international price of Brent crude is down a little bit. A big shocker, and this is one of those ones where you want to practice your eyebrow. Practice your eyebrow. Does your eyebrow move up? This is when you're going to try to raise that eyebrow because you're going to get that sarcastic, like, what are you talking about? Look. And it comes in from the Minneapolis Federal Reserve President Neil Kashari. He appeared on broadcast news, and when asked whether we're in a recession, again, he's a federal governor. He's not the president, but he's a governor. He says, whether we're technically in a recession or not doesn't really change my analysis. You haven't been acting the same since you haven't had your Snickers. Can someone give him a cup of coffee? I mean, Starbucks is reporting corporate earnings tomorrow, so maybe give him a cup of Starbucks coffee. A little grouchy? Yes, this is during the Face of the Nation broadcast. I'm focused on inflation data. I'm focused on wage data. And so far, inflation continues to surprise us to the upside. Wage continues to grow. Well, he's half right. Wage salaries have not continued to grow, but inflation has continued to track higher. It's very fascinating, this quote, and Wall Street's not liking this quote. Wall Street is relatively flattered down much of the trading today because the Federal Reserve has a dual mandate. Maximum employment, so they want to keep unemployment low and keep price stability intact. So when you ask them about recession, their little response is, don't even ask me that darn question. Don't ask me that question. You didn't know that's how they're going to act until you ask the question. Now we got it. The day started with the manufacturing decline. This is in the ISM manufacturing report for the month of July was released. It was sharper than expected downward, meaning there was less manufacturing than expected. This is why the Treasury yield is down additionally. The 2-year Treasury fell slightly today to 2.89%. What are we looking for? We are looking for whether the pronounced recession, which was confirmed last Thursday, I'll go back over that in a second, is now expanding to more parts of this economy. What are we going to look at? We're going to be looking at the earnings. The earnings being released this week, and we have a lot of them. What do we have? On Tuesday, Starbucks is going to report, also JetBlue and Caterpillar, the big bellwether. Then on Wednesday, Yum Brands, which of course is the parent company of a lot of fast food operators, and Brooke Holdings reports. Then on Thursday, boy, we got a big week ahead of us. Really, we really do. On Thursday, what do we got going on? Well, of course, on Thursday, we have the numbers from labor for unemployment. And then on Friday, we have the big details of the non-farm payroll numbers being released. Those non-farm payroll reports show you how many jobs are created. Wow. That's a lot. I think I'll have to take in an extra Starbucks cup of coffee for myself. Maybe I'll drive a tractor trailer from Caterpillar as well to get prepared for this week. You get prepared as well. This, my friends, is why you have to get a four stimulus check in every U.S. state. Congratulations to all the wonderful new members. Hundreds of them in the last few hours, because this is the only place where there's stimulus. There is not going to be any other stimulus anywhere else anytime soon, and viewers have been getting since the month of March. I'm welcoming all my new members. I promised I would be in the live chat and welcoming every one of them, but there were so many of them. I missed a lot of you. Welcome to all the new members who have joined the Purple Power family. Welcome to all the people who have upgraded from Purple Hawk to Purple Power. You need it because we're in, yes, a recession. This last week released a series of data points, and it showed us that when you and I analyze together as a family on this channel, get it right. Last year, in spring of last year, 2021, I said we were going to have 8% inflation, and it was not going to be temporary, transitory. Wall Street, the Federal Reserve, said it was going to be 2 to 3% temporary. They were wrong. Came in at 8% in December. What did we get last Friday before this last weekend? Less than this 2 days ago. We got that PCEI number, the personal income expenditure number. This is a big one. This is one of the most preferred use benchmarks for inflation that the Federal Reserve uses. Why do I like this one? It's always accurate, and it always tells you what's coming up with the CPI in just 2 weeks from now. I think it's around August 10th is when we get that consumer price index number released for the month of July. This is big for your benefits. So what happened? First, let's go over why this is big news for you, and then we'll go over the breaking news across the board. Why is this important for you? It's the raise of your benefits. Your benefits are going up a lot, approximately $5,000, because inflation has not peaked. We learned that going into the weekend. SSA, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits, astronomical sums of money. Get ready to do a dance in your home or where you're at right now, because this is the biggest lift of your benefits you're going to see of your lifetime. First, let's go over why it's happening. Then we'll go over how it happens, and then we'll go over the calculation. First, why is it happening? It's happening because inflation has not peaked. Inflation, as I predicted last year, was going to be 8%, not temporary. Then, throughout much of this year, I said it was going to go higher. And the number that came in on Friday, which is a number that's released in between the other inflationary benchmarks that come on August 10th, is generally reliable and gives you an indication of what the August 10th number is going to say. That number last Friday was the Personal Consumption Expenditure Price Index. It rose 6.8% for the month of June. High, yes, very high. How high? Highest number since 1982. It's out of control. It's not slowing down. And when you exclude food and energy, which is called core PCE, it's up 4.8% year to date. It's out of control. This is very helpful because now it gives us an indication of what could be happening with that CPI coming in less than 2 weeks. That CPI is the preferred benchmark for inflation, and it gives us an indication of how much your benefits are going up. Let's go over what we know so far going into approximately August 10th. We had back in the month of July, the CPI beat on that Wednesday, then the PPI beat on that Thursday, then the day after that, the retail sales beat. What happened? Let's start with the CPI. The CPI had been 8.6% in the month of May. It was expected to be an 8.8 print for the month of June when released on July 13th, but it was not. It went from 8.6% to a whopping 9.1%. Ouch. Highest number since 1981. There you go again. The CPI is for consumers, and this is why your benefits are going to go up a lot. It didn't stop there yet. On July 14th, the producer price index number was released. This is what the wholesaler is paying. It's also an inflationary number. And that number rose 11.3%, the highest inflation number for the PPI since March. And then on Friday, the retail sales number was released. And it did not show that you just spent more money because you had more money. It rather showed that the product you bought in the month of June was priced 1% higher across the board. So let's now go back into your benefits. Your benefits are going up a lot because inflation has not peaked. We now know that based upon the data that came in on Friday. And by around August 10th, we will have the latest data for the month of July. Then we need to August and September and October. All right, let's go over the latest details of what's happening starting right now. Your benefits are tied to something called COLA, C-O-L-A, cost of living adjustment. It's determined by another number, the CPI. And that CPI-W, a subsection of the CPI, it determines COLA, but only from 3 months of data. Those 3 months are the CPI-W in July, released in August released in September, and September released in October. And what we have been talking about since the CPI read came in so high on July 13th is that we need to see this inflationary number stay where it is, go higher, but not go lower. Because if it does, you can have the biggest lift of your benefits of your lifetime. Because inflation is never going to be this high again. And this is everything we've wanted. You don't need SS300. This is SS400. You don't need swapping COLA for inflation. This is doing it. You don't need fifth stimulus. This is what's happening. And this is absolutely a godsend. I'm so excited for you. So now let's go over the calculation, and then we'll go over that big question mark, the 30, 90-day waiting period. Do we need to wait the 90 days to get clarity on how high it's going to go, or do we have clarity today? I'll have that analysis coming up in a second. First, let's go over the calculation. First, your benefits, yes. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, yes, this is you. Number 2, automatic, absolutely automatic. Do direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. However, you get your checks. You don't have to do anything across the board. Then, how much would it go up? Is it all $5,000? No. Some of you will go up a little bit more than $5,000. Some of you will go up less than $5,000. It's the same percentage for all of you. That is incredible great news. Everyone's benefits are going to go up the same monstrous percentage of that benefits lift across the board. Again, we're looking for 3 months of data. So we're getting the July data, the first of these 3 months, in less than about 9 days from now, August 10th approximately. That CPI will give us the July numbers. Do we need to wait 3 months for the data to tell us how high your benefits are going? Got that great question from either Lynn, Glenn, or Diane, or both of them. And so I think some of the people asking the same question. It's a great question. Here's what you need to know. First, the Federal Reserve does not meet in August. So the Federal Reserve will be doing nothing with inflation in the month of August. So whatever you see right now in the month of August will not be changed before the CPI for August is released in September. Yeah, because the Federal Reserve is not meeting the month of August. It has nothing to do. And that is why I believe that if we basically see half of this period, not the full 3 months, not July, August, September, but if we see half of this period and we see it's basically tracking where we were as of July 13th, as of the June data, and if it looks still like the June data or better, I think we're locked in. I think we are locked in. Now, of course, if it's higher, it's absolutely incredible across the board as well. So much to know and so little time. This, my friends, is why you want to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. That forced stimulus check in every U.S. state is here. It's been on this channel since the month of March. Viewers have been getting it monstrous sums of money. We'll go over those incredible checks in a second, but first, here's a preview of those incredible checks. Have you become a member? Make sure you do. Stay in the second half as we go over each of these incredible checks one at a time. What are these checks? They're approximately $100,000 done by executive action from Joseph Biden back in the month of March. And they're absolutely incredible. Series of different checks. You qualify. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Single individual, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less. Go get it. If you rent, if you own, if you're on benefits, if you're not on benefits, if you're young, if you're old, go get it as well. You qualify for these sums of money, and you deserve that financial freedom. You're going to meet in just a second one of you who got 80 checks. You heard me right. 80 checks. You deserve that as well. It's a big week. It really is a big week. My goodness. Tomorrow we have those 3 corporate earnings from Caterpillar, Starbucks, and JetBlue. The day after that, Young Brands. We had the housing data showing weakness today. We had the manufacturing decline and the treasury yields declining today. Boy, we got a lot to expect for this week. This is why you got to really stay on top of the news, because there is so much going on. There is so much going on, and tonight on Evenings LA, we'll go over more about these details across the board for you as well. One of the great benefits of becoming a member is not only the membership newsletter, but the membership worksheets. In the membership newsletter, down the third line is a link to go into the membership worksheets. These are all created by LA. These are all proprietary to this broadcast. You're not going to see them anywhere else because you're watching the number 3 most watched financial news broadcast expanding very dramatically because of you, because of your great patronage. Let's go over the worksheets. Here they are. You can print them out from your phone or your computer. They're a PDF in the newsletter down about 3 lines, about 8 pages. Let's go over the latest details. We have a lot going on these pages. First one, inflation. Inflation has not gone down. It's still tracking higher, as that Fed governor, of course, said from Minneapolis. That is because that PCEI read on Friday shows it still tracking higher. Highest we've seen inflation since 1981. Great news for your benefits, because your benefits are going up the highest of a generation. Number 2, recession. I didn't cover this yet. I've covered all weekend long. The U.S. economy has now slipped into a recession. Why? Because 2 negative quarters of GDP growth were posted by this economy through the month of June. Those 2 negative quarters of GDP growth are the pure definition of recession. 2 consecutive negative quarters of GDP growth confirmed by Department of Labor on Thursday. Number 3, labor. Well, here we go. I'm projecting that the labor number, the unemployment claims coming out Thursday, will be 260,000. It went 166 all the way up to about 200, then went to 230 as I projected for several weeks, 230, then 245. Went to 260, came back down to about 255 last week, not adjusted yet. I think it's going to go to 260. And finally, the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve does not meet this month, so they have nothing to do for interest rate spikes. However, there'll be 3 Fed governors speaking tomorrow. I believe one of them is Bullard. I'll have the latest comments on them across the board. The next page of the worksheets is the one that is delivery magic for viewers. It's a table that has the ability for you to keep track of all those incredible checks you're going to be applying for. Check A, B, and C, the date you applied, the date you paid, how much, the periods of payment, because you're going to have a lot of overlap. You're going to get the water, let's say from March to January, March to May, but the electric may be February to June, so you got to keep track of all this. One viewer had kept track of everything. The only problem is she had not looked at her notes. She had not looked at her worksheet. And what did she get? She got a message, not last Thursday, but the Thursday before that. And that message said, ma'am, you've been approved for check B. Great news. Congratulations. She's in Florida. But the great news didn't stop there. She got approved for her mortgage. That's check B. Wow. It gets better. She got approved for her mortgage for 18 months of checks. Yes, she got 18 months of checks because of this channel, because she became a member. It gets even better. What got better? She applied for all her utilities. Let's do the math. If you have 4 utilities and you have a mortgage, that's 5 checks per month. 5 checks per month over 18 months, folks, that's 80 to 100 checks she got because she's a member of this channel. It's not a rare circumstance. It's happening all the time. Then last week, Spelly got approved for check A and he got check C for several months as well. And he wanted to send you a brilliant message. I love his message so much. He's great with this. He said, stay with it. He applied for check A, and they said he didn't dot his T. I'm still doing it wrong. Cross his T or dot his I, and they said do it again, and he did again. He got approved. He said stay with it. Let's go to that next page of the PDF, the lift of your benefits. Incredible. We're going to watch that CPI read coming in less than 9 days from now. And then tonight on Evenings LALATE, I'll be going over the latest details on gasoline with that OPEC Plus meeting on Wednesday. It's a critical meeting because it determines production, pumping of the gasoline. Remember, the less pumping, the higher the prices. And then student loan debt forgiveness. We'll have more about that tonight on Evenings LA. It's a big day, and we are just getting started. First, let's go back to what's going on that housing front. Housing market is really deeply softened, and that housing market continues to soften because home builders have really not pivoted across the board. Let me tell you what's going on. Housing market is gauged by a series of numbers, and they came in a week ago when the builders' confidence fell to the lowest level, second lowest drop in recorded history, 37-year history. The next day, the new home sales, which is the homes that are under construction, brand new homes, fell dramatically. The day after that, the existing homes fell. What do we have going into the weekend then? Going into the weekend, we had that shocking report. After the mortgage applications have dropped to the lowest levels in 22 years because no one can afford a mortgage. That's 6%. That surged out of control from 3% last year to 6% in May and June. What happened to that 6% mortgage? Ironic? I say not. After they saw no one applying for a mortgage because no one can afford a 6% mortgage, suddenly the mortgage rates fell into the middle 5% range. That was by Wednesday. Then between Wednesday and Thursday, the mortgage number dropped dramatically, down a 0.25 percentage point in one day. I'll be tracking this data all this week, and you will as well, because this is critical. It basically says that some industries are having to pivot because they can't operate with these astronomical numbers. It's an exceptionally fast drop, writes Matthew Graham of Mortgage Daily News. In a way, mortgage investors are trying to get ahead of the game. Imagine you fell from a 5.54% on Wednesday, 5.4% to 5.2% on Thursday. A 0.25 percentage point for mortgages? That's incredible. It shows you something's really going on. Going into the weekend, what do we have on that earnings front? We learned going into the weekend that we can give some projections on this economy, but we can't. Sometimes we can, and sometimes we can't. On Evenings LA tonight in prime time, I'm going to go over whether we are in a bear market or out of the bear market. Some people are declaring the bottom of the market. I'm not agreeing just so far. We've had corporate earnings miss on social media like Snap, like also Twitter. We've had tech miss with Google and Alphabet. We had Amazon beat, however. We have Walmart giving downward guidance. And then going into the weekend, we thought that Intel was going to miss, and missed dramatically, down 22% year to date and missing consensus by 14%. You would have thought Amazon would have been down as well. Well, guess what happened with Amazon? Amazon beat, Apple beat, even though we thought it was going to be a miss, and Roku beat as well. Here's what you need to know. It's not particularly a fluid market. It's not particularly a consistent market. And the only trend lines, which are not always the same trend, have been the following. Retail sales slumping. Tech relatively slumping because of dependency on ad sales. Number 3, travel and leisure gangbusters through the roof, really big, but they're guiding downward later for this year because obviously no one's going to keep on spending $500 to fly from here to 12 miles away. That price of airfare is not sustainable in this industry. Hospitality, Hilton's beating, and all those others. Home improvement, well, we have Black & Decker, the power tool company, missing dramatically. So you see that, and also, by the way, credit card companies, Visa and Amex beating as you would expect. So very, very fluid. What you and I want to watch this week is the forward guidance. We want to see when companies give us guidance for third quarter, fourth quarter, because we initially had gotten that very, very negative guidance from Walmart to Apple. The later this year, they say it's actually going to get worse. We want to see if the narrative is different because some people are trying to declare the bottom has arrived. I'm not agreeing whatsoever. Remember, in a recession, you go down 40 to 50% in equities. We're only down 20%. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as the big program continues. We'll go over all those incredible checks one at a time. You deserve these checks. Go under this video and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. These are the big checks. You deserve these big checks. A four stimulus check for you. You want to get it. We're going to go over all these incredible checks in the big second half. Plus, I'll be going over what happened with the announcement of the recession last week and what's likely to happen this week whenever someone talks about recession. I'll go over what you need to do with your wallet and how to prepare accordingly. Become a member and stay in the second half as we go over all these incredible sums of money. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as America's most loved show at the midday continues. It's afternoons. I'll see you back in 60 seconds with all those incredible checks and the latest details on this economy.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then Afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And this massive week of news continues right now as we have a huge week with earnings, economy, and stimulus. A lot to go over, and I'm excited you're here. We have so many details coming this week, and what you need to know is stay here because there is so much breaking news by the minute, by the hour for you to cover. We'll be covering the economy, recession, the inflation benefits lift, and also the housing market, plus, of course, unemployment and your stimulus on Evenings LA tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Stay with me. I have a lot to go over across the board. As we look at those incredible 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state, here's what you need to know today. These 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state became law in the month of March, and surely enough, it was perfect timing because at the time, viewers said, LA, find me some checks. And I did. The 4 stimulus checks founded by this channel for you and gotten by you became law in the month of March. 2 things I was focused on, and both were achieved. Number 1, I wanted big checks, monster checks, and we got them. I care about you, and I'll make sure you survive this economy, survive this recession. The financial cliff has not come. I'm projecting that financial cliff is September. And I'm projecting the heart of the recession is going to be felt next year. So this is certainly not the real impact of the recession just yet. How much? About $100,000 of checks. Number 2, I want broad eligibility. I want to make sure you qualify, and you do. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you rent, if you own, if you're on benefits, if you're not on benefits, go get it as well. And number 3, I want it simple for you. How do you get these checks? The newsletter. The newsletter. That's why this channel works. Put together in a simple form, delivered to you. You just go down, apply, apply, and apply. And with that, let's go over all those incredible checks featured in the newsletter starting right now. The 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state are a series of different checks I give a lettering system to. The first check is Check A, and let's look at that incredible first check starting right now. It is $6,500 to $12,000. It's a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 or less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. And if you're on benefits, go get it as well. Yes, $6,500 to $12,000. How do you get it? Step 1, join this channel. Go under the video and become a member. Join as hundreds join less than every 24 hours on this channel. And thank you to all the wonderful new members, and congratulations to all the existing members who have upgraded to Purple Power from Purple Hawk. Get that membership signed up. Second, subscribe. Then get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. We'll go over that newsletter in a second. Go down in the alerts to the newsletter. Do you find Check A? Click the link and go apply. Send you into the nationwide website, choose your state, and go get that weatherizing grant check. Check number 2, B. It's $15,000 to $80,000. Check A is what Spelly got. Check B is what the viewer from Florida got. 80 of these checks. It is $15,000 to $80,000. In some cases, may even be more. 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less. A married couple, go get as well. And if you're on benefits, go get as well. Step 1, join the channel. Step 2, become a member. Go down in the membership newsletter, you find Check B, and then click the link and go in and apply. Go in and apply and get these incredible checks across the board. And look how well you've done already. That is $80,000. This is about $12,000. That's $100,000. We're just getting started. You're going to go get Check C as well. Check C is astronomical. It's averaging about $45,000. Many viewers have gotten over $150,000, and a lot have gotten $2,000 over 12 months MSC. It is rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, more. How do you get this? Step 1, go under the video, join the channel, become a member, then subscribe. Make sure you remember to subscribe as well. Then get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday. Go down to the membership newsletter which says Check C. It tells you where to call, who to call, and what to say. Now, in the case of Check C, remember, it's going to be about 6 government agencies and about 6 nonprofits. That's 12 places to reach out to. For how many checks? Well, you likely have about 4 utilities per month and your rent, your mortgage. That's about 5 checks, 5 bills you have per month, and you have 12 places to reach out to. 12 times 5, that's a lot of places for checks to get paid from in just one possible month. Go get those incredible sums of money. Go down and get those sums of money right today. The success of Check C's date back on this channel. Because why? It's third stimulus. It's the residue of third stimulus. And viewers have been getting these checks for a very long time on this channel, which has gotten viewers $50 million since it launched in spring of 2020. Let's look at the success stories, just some of the success stories. This is just sampling of them for Check C. Nisi, Richard, Nancy, Mark, Elizabeth. You want $30,000 for rent? Go get Check C. Look at this. Angela, Mark, Nancy. Mark's brother-in-law, $15,000 for utilities. Go get Check C. Snap. Same brother-in-law is getting $250,000 over 10 years. Combinations of checks. Nisi's gone from $23,000 to $50,000. Mark has gone from $32,000 to $166,000. He went from this graphic to this graphic, then this graphic to 100,000. Then he got check B, 166. Lorraine, 105 to then 150. What is the common occurrence? What is the common thread between these viewers? Lorraine, Nancy, Nisi, Johnny, Margaret. They do the following things. One, they're in all the live chats. There's so much going on a regular basis on this channel. You cannot miss what's going on because it is very, very fluid. I don't repeat the coverage on this channel because in a given week, we got so many events going on. You can't miss the news on the hour, by the hour on this channel. Whether it's your benefits raised, whether it's the housing market, whether it's unemployment, there's so much going on for stimulus. You can't miss a single details on this channel. Number two, they keep on getting checks. They get a check today, they get another check. Margaret just had a meeting with her utility company to get another check. That's what they keep on doing. Finally, they keep it positive, they keep it motivated. If you're on the live chat and you've had a success story, post it so you inspire other people, whether it's $1 or $100. If you have a success story, send me a private message on Facebook and I'll feature it live on air. Every success story encourages someone else because you can all do this. 3 things to remember. First, subscribe to this channel. Go right on this video and subscribe. You're watching LALATE, the number 3 most watched financial news channel. America expanding dramatically, trying to get to that number 2 position. Why? A lot of things have happened all of a sudden. First, LALATE Live, which was initially a live show for just 2 hours, then 8 hours, is now 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Number 2. LALATE.com, the website that started it all, is now updated with news stories about your money on that all throughout the day. Number 3, this channel is getting a re-look as you see it's starting to morph into a slightly different look. And finally, the 2 new channels, LA2 and LA3, coming to this family in just a few days. Go under this video, subscribe. Number 2, join the channel. Go under the video and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. This is where the 4 stimulus checks are. This is where viewers have been getting them since the month of March. This is your opportunity. Welcome to all the new members. You understand the magnitude of getting the money now because there is no other money. There will be no other money from any other agency of the government anytime soon in the next few weeks. This money is available right now. Number 3, go to the front of the channel. There's a little bell. Make sure that bell is set to all notifications, all on, so you get a notification when a new video goes out. And also to get a notification about that worksheet, that newsletter. All right, let's go into that incredible newsletter starting right now. You deserve all this money, and you want to make sure you understand everything about it. Let's look at that newsletter right now. That newsletter is delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. Here's the YouTube alert. You go down the alert till you see the man with the surfboard, go past him till you see the button that says click and view post. You go right in and pounce. So simple across the board. Get that incredible financial freedom, get that newsletter, and pounce today. Want to see that again? Let's do it again. First, remember your time zone. It's 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time that it's delivered on the money, right on the money, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you are East Coast, that's likely 10 o'clock. If you're Midwest, it may be 9 o'clock. Know the time zone because it comes exactly on that time. Then it comes via the alert. What does a YouTube alert look like? This is what a YouTube alert look like. It's written by me, sent to you. The alert has the title, For Members Only, New LA Post. Here's the body of the alert. Here's the body. See those 4 mailboxes? And it says LA Newsletter. So simple. So simple. And it's delivered exactly on the money at 7 p.m. Go past the guy with the surfboard. Below him, where there's a button that says click and view post, you go right in and you go get those big sums of money. So simple across the board. It's a big week, and we're just getting started, and the news is always here and always on LA. Breaking news throughout the day will be continuing on Evenings LA. The breaking news tonight will, of course, be those corporate earnings. More corporate earnings coming in after the bell, and I'll have the latest details for you as well. Plus, we'll be reanalyzing those comments by that Fed governor. That Fed governor's comments on Sunday were shocking when he said, I don't want to be even asked about recession. Does that sound like someone else? It does. Let me explain to you what I sensed could happen, but really has happened dramatically. In spring of this year, I was the first to report we're going into recession. No American financial broadcaster was reporting we're going to go in recession at the time. It was February this year. I said we're going to go in recession. And at the time, the major banks didn't want to use the word. It was not until April till the first major bank, Deutsche Bank, said, yes, the U.S. economy is going into recession. Even then, I said there's a storm out to sea. The storm's coming on land. Jamie Dimon at J.P. Morgan Chase said the same expression. He said a hurricane down the road or something like that. He even then didn't want to use the word recession. Now, we all understood what was going to happen 2 weeks ago when the Atlanta Fed GDP Now was released. It's a live tracking tool, a 30-year tracking record, completely 100% accurate over 30 years. It showed that the first 6 months of this economy this year, first 2 quarters, posted 2 consecutive negative quarters of GDP growth. So you and I knew that this last Thursday, when the Department of Labor was going to announce the GDP for the second quarter, it was going to be negative, and hence recession. You and I all knew this. But what happened last week? Last week, some Wall Street analysts said, no, I think it's going to be positive. At the time, I said, you know what? I don't know where your data is coming from. I don't know where your data is coming from. I see no indication that the GDP was going to be positive in that read coming in last Thursday, and yet some analysts said it was. Now looking back today for August 1st, I believe that those analysts just wanted to think it was going to happen. They didn't really have any proof that it was ever going to happen, that there was going to be a positive GDP number. I think they wanted to sort of inherently tell themselves that that was happening. Who else did that as well? The other person who did that is your President of the United States. Your President of the United States, as soon as that number was released on Thursday, and let me make this very clear. The number was released on Thursday before sunrise. We all knew it was going to come. We all knew what it was going to say. Guess what he had planned? He planned a double whammy. First, he planned himself to speak about the subject matter. Second, he planned Janet Yellen to speak about the subject matter. What does it look like? In the world of celebrity news, which LALATE certainly has a track record of covering, there's a thing called getting ahead of the story. You get ahead of the story before the story gets worse. So if there's a scandal about to erupt, you get out in front of press and you tell them what your side of the story is before the scandal hits. Recession is not a scandal, but that's basically what the president was doing. He was getting ahead of the story to tell you why the breaking news that was coming in that morning, just hours earlier, was not as he thinks it was. Janet Yellen tried the same thing. And then over the weekend, you saw that Fed governor. Here's what I want you to know today. What I want you to know today is that what Janet Yellen said is not particularly accurate. What Joseph Biden said is completely inaccurate. Let me tell you what's going on. In the case of recession, it's a defined economic term. It only has one definition. If you're president of the United States, you don't get to change the definitions of our economists. The definition of a recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP growth. That negative quarters of GDP growth was released by the Department of Labor. It's not released by a private organization. So we have a recession defined occurring already, number one. Number two, to come out and say it's not a typical recession, to come out and say it's not a recession because this is strong, that's strong, that's strong. I got to tell you, people who are of adult age who lived through the last recession know what a recession is like. And they know how a recession starts and how it ends. So if a president who's a little bit older than them comes out and tells them that it's not a recession because certain things have not yet happened, I got to tell you, I think most Americans understand that what he's saying was inaccurate. And it's also what Janet Yellen's saying is inaccurate. Let me tell you what's going on. A recession starts in different places. It doesn't all start at the same place. And what Janet Yellen, the White House, tried to do last week was basically tell you a recession is sort of like a lockdown. It all starts exactly the same place at the same time for every industry, the same magnitude. So if it's negative 30%, it's negative 30% in biotech and housing and technology and social media stocks, all at the same time. And that if you don't see negative 30% in every single industry, in every single state at the same time, it's not a recession. I think most adults know that's not a recession. I know most adults know that's not how recession happens. Recession happens in different stages. First, geographically, recession happens different times for different states. The last recession, the East Coast went into it almost 6 months before the West Coast. The West Coast came out of the recession 6 months later. Housing. Housing goes into recession at different times than in the stock market. And then among industries, biotech versus technology versus travel and leisure, they don't all go into recession at the same time. They may not all get hit as badly by a recession all at the same time. So for the President of the United States to come out and tell you, hi, it's July, what was it, July 15th or July, no, it was like July 26th. It's July 26th. We're not in a recession because here are examples of places that haven't seen the recession. Most Americans know the recession is not 1 week. Most Americans know the recession is not 2 months. It's not 3 months. And a recession is a progression of events. And that progression of events is a slowing of events. And for the president to basically spin it and tell you that everything is coming up roses basically caused liberal publications to actually say that the liberal president is doing rose-colored glasses. He's spinning the data. Ultimately, you and I stay with data, and that's why we can agree upon the analysis. Because if you and I look at the same data, then the data only says one thing. First, when we look at the unemployment numbers, the unemployment numbers say only one thing. They're going up. They're not going down. They did go from 260 to 255 last week, slight improvement, but they've gone from 166 to 260 in less than 2-3 months. That you can't spin. There's no way to spin that. Next, the housing data continues to get worser by the day. It's not that bad, the housing data, let's make very clear, but it's weakening. And as that housing data weakens, well, we all agree there's something changing across the board. Number 3, we all understand that inflation is still tracking higher. And as inflation continues to track higher, then we can't say that that's inherently good. We all understand those data points. That's why this channel works. That's why this family works. Because if we agree upon the data we need to look at, inflation, recession, labor, jobs, stimulus, housing, then we track the data as a family. And when the data surprises us, like the mortgage rates last Thursday and Wednesday, then we say it surprised us. If we look at an inflationary number that comes in later this week, which I don't have any other plan this week, but if we have one that comes in that shocks us, then we'll say it shocked us. It went the other direction. The data is all tracking the same way. Unemployment claims going up. Inflation still going up. Slowing of the economy still going down. Housing data still getting weaker. The data does not lie. And then ultimately, presidents, political parties want to spin the news because it doesn't potentially help their political agenda. But we're not going to do that here. We'll never spin the financial news. We'll never spin the financial facts. The financial facts are facts. Meantime, if you have a comment or a suggestion of what you'd like on this channel, send to me on Facebook, private message. Over the weekend, when I was live on Instagram, one viewer jumped in the live stream on Instagram, said, LALATE, I miss dearly your crypto shows. Please bring them back. Well, with 3 channels coming to this family, from 1 to 3, there's a lot of space for a lot of programming. So if you want those crypto shows back on this channel, they will be back. If you have other suggestions, in addition to Sirloin, Javita, Late, Blaine 66, humor, food also coming to this family, send me a message on those additional suggestions you have across the board. Go into this video, become a member. Thank you for all the wonderful new members that are in the live chats. If I didn't give you a shout out, tag me if you see me in the live chat, and I will give you a shout out in the live chat. Become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. God bless you. Keep on getting those big sums of money. Get them today. Get more money across the board. And for the shores of Santa Monica, California, see you tonight on evenings at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.